Hi, welcome back to Coldstream Rod Shop. I'm Derek Fraser. In this episode, we're going to do something different. For the past 5, 6, 7 episodes, it's 32 Ford 5 window, 32 Ford 5 window. Not that I'm tired of that, but I actually had to stop and make some modifications to some of the tools I work on. So this is the shrinker stretcher that I use, just like anybody else would buy at Harbor Freight or Princess Auto or wherever you buy them. Essentially, they're designed to fit into a vise or put on a stand, and then you've got a lever here. So, you would stick the sheet metal in here and you reef on it, and it works. I can do whatever I need to do, but it takes a lot of effort, two-handed like this. It'd be nice if I had some basically foot-operated pedals onto it. Now, you can go on Amazon or Princess Auto or wherever and buy a kit from anywhere from $200 to $500 to build the whole thing. So I guess I could go do that, but at the same time, I've got all these bits and pieces of metal laying around here, and the mechanics of it is relatively straightforward and relatively simple. So over here on my bench, I keep all my bits and pieces of everything I cut up, whether it's a flange, bar stock, whatever. And then behind me, I've got pieces of 1-inch bar stock, 1-inch tube and 3/4-inch tube. So I've seen these before. They're relatively straightforward. It's just a lever mechanism. So what I did on this side, it's set up, but on this side here, basically I took this arm and then I cut it off. And that's actually the bottom of that should mount on the bottom of a frame that would mount hairpins, and then like a tie rod end or a insulated bushing would go in there. So I had a couple of those laying around. So I basically welded it to this rod, stuck it in there. And then the next step was I had to, for a foot pedal, I just took some 1-inch bar stock, drilled a 1/2-inch hole into it with a bolt. And I basically calculated about 18 inches and about 5 inches there. And that's about a 3-to-1 ratio, somewhere around there, approximately. Didn't have to be perfect. And then what I did was I knew I had to have a certain amount of travel in it. So just playing around, I took a rod and then looked at what would work as far as travel. So I came up with this. And again, I went into the box over there, and I had some plate that had 1/2-inch holes drilled into it and made up a couple more. And then this is basically 3/4-inch bar stock that I salvaged from a jig that I'd made. So this hooks up there. And just use stuff I had laying around. So once I'd figured out that I had about the right travel as far as you want it to come up, then you also need like a return spring. So had these kicking around too. So hook the spring up there, spring up there, put a couple nuts onto it just to hold it in place. You can make hooks, whatever. Most of these bolts, I'm going to put some nylocks onto them so that they don't come undone. But for now, basically this is the setup. And then like this piece here, like I was showing you. Now it basically springs up. I don't have to lift it up. And then this one's a stretcher. And it's basically hands-free. I've done that to both sides. This side I've actually undone the shrinker side because I was online and it's Latsy's Metalworks. He gave a couple tips on how you could tune up your dies a little bit. So on the shrinker, this is what it looks on the inside when you take them off. So the shrinker here, when you press it down, the metal goes in between here. And what there is, in order to tune this upright, basically this bar here has to be equal on both sides. So take it apart, clean it up, and then make sure that each side is even. And then if you don't have enough travel, like enough shrinking, what you can do is you can take these 4 pieces out and just polish the sides a little bit. That'll give you a little more travel. If you want to, on each stroke, get actually more shrinking out of it. So you check them out online, latsiesmetalwork.com. He tells you how to do it. You can grease them up, but this is ready to go back on here. Gonna put some nylon locks onto it. Probably put a coat of paint onto it, but now I got a hands-free shrinker and stretcher. A couple other things we did in the shop on some of the budget equipment, like you can obviously go buy better shrinker stretchers, but for just the hobbyist, when you can actually do a really good job with these. Over here on my brake, I did the same thing. I bought a brake from Princess Auto, or Harbor Freight. Sells the same one. People will probably recognize this. Now I do a lot of 18 gauge. The limit on this one is 18 gauge. What I found was when I put a 36-inch piece into it and I tried to bring it up, it would flex. So I simply just welded a 1-inch tube along the bottom piece here so that I got some more strength into it. So when it just stiffens it up some. If it doesn't work for you, modify it and make it work. And everybody's seen the Frankenroller over here that we use all the time. It's essentially the same idea. We bought the Eastwood, Princess Auto, Harbor Freight basic bead roller, welded some plates on the top of it. Essentially what this frame here was from an old engine picker I found at a junkyard. I cut it up, cut the pieces up, and then I took a flex plate, put it on the back here for a wheel. And everybody makes fun of my vice grips here, but I'll tell you, they're pretty slick for when you're turning everything. Another modification that you would want to do for tightening it down is over here. Most of them just have like a nut, so I just put a T onto it and a longer bolt and just reinforce this piece here so it doesn't flex. So, use what you got. You don't have to have the most expensive piece of equipment. If you can afford it, all the better, but make use of what you got. It's how you use it. So hopefully you enjoyed that. A little different than the other episodes. So please like, share, tag, and subscribe, and send me your comments. Everybody have a great one. Take care.